Lee Sklar sitting here with John Robinson, one of my favorite drummers on the face of the earth, and we're going to reflect a little bit on his thoughts on Jeff Porcaro.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, Jeff, I miss him terribly. And he was one of the greatest drummers of all time in any decade, in any century, and for centuries to come. I learned so much from him. There's Jeff. He's fucking Superman.
Yeah.
He was the nicest cat. When I moved to town in 1978, we were very fortunate to share the same management, Fitzgerald Hartley, and he would never ever say a bad thing about anybody, and he was so helpful to me about suggesting me for gigs, and he was generous and compassionate, and those are the qualities of humans that you can look at his talent and all that sort of thing and just say, well, yeah, that guy was an amazing drummer, but in reality he was just a wonderful human being, and I think that's why we all liked being around him. And I wished I'd kind of played bass a little bit better so I could have played.
Glad you didn't, babe.
Yeah, I know, but I could have played with him in that capacity, and I would have really loved to play drums with him. I love the fact that he was understated as a drummer musically. He would not overplay, but yet when he played, his just hundreds of signature licks and fills. I mean, you knew right out of the gates when you heard at least two beats of Jeff's groove, you knew it was Jeff. I mean, that's the concept, and there's thousands of drummers in the world, but you listen to 4 bars of them, and who are they? And Jeff was always the kind of guy that you immediately, first of all, you heard him, and you felt his air on the radio. Immediately my right hand went off the steering wheel and cranked up my stereo and listened to it. And Silk Degrees and Diamond Girl, which he was just a child. And I'm just obviously the day that he passed, and it was it was very sad for all of us. But I've never seen so many people turn out at a funeral in my entire life.
It was pretty amazing.
I was like, but all of us, and I see it still on posts, and everybody misses him. But the great thing about Jeff is that, he was a family man. He came from the most amazing family. And, I'm very close to his father, and I was very close to his brothers. And his music will never ever not be played. He's going to be, with all this crap we hear on the radio today, you're still hearing Jeff in all the real music. And in 100 years from now, you're going to still hear Jeff.
Yeah. And
in 1,000 years, I mean, God willing, there's, music, which I think that'll maybe the only thing that'll be left. But you're always going to hear Jeff, and I miss him so. Who would have said what would have happened to that band, with Toto and, the way they were, and, with him, which was just so magical. And us, as studio cats and band guys, we always looked up to those guys because they stuck it out. They had a statement, and Jeff always had a smile on his face. I mean, I remember hanging out at, many places with Jeff at A&M once, and a long time ago, and we would always share records together, and it was really kind of cool that the producers would design their records for 6 tunes with Jeff and 6 tunes with me, and we would come just cross paths and hang and talk, and there was no ego. Like lots of times musicians, guitar players, there's egos. Drummers, there's major egos. Bass players, of course, there's never egos, man.
No, we're just great to start with.
Yeah. I mean, if we can get one of you to get to the session on time. But he was just so cool, man. He'd shoot the shit and talk, and mostly talk about family stuff and gardening and You know, there was no rub, and I mean, and from my perspective also, I switched over to Paiste cymbals primarily. One reason is because of the sound, and it's the sound I heard coming from him.
Yeah.
And he was just such an influence with that, and I got to play with Mike a lot, and I enjoyed playing with Mike. And,
Mike's fabulous.
And Steve I got to play a lot with, but mostly with Mike. And all I can say is that Jeff, your world continues to grow, and I'm just very, very proud to have known you and been a compadre, man. Love you forever.
Cool.